Hi, I'm Sophie, and in this video I'm going to talk about the country of Singapore. First of all, we are going to see the flag of Singapore, that is this one. Singapore is located in the continent of Asia. It covers 687 square kilometers of land and 10 square kilometers of water. Now we are going to see a short part of a video that show on TV, but it shows the anthem and some part of the culture of Singapore. About the currency, Singapore occupies a prominent place in the global financial industry. Its currency, as a result, is the Singapore dollar. This is one of the most traded currencies in the world. Singapore celebrates festivals that are specific to each ethnic group of each culture, and they're celebrated in different times of the year. Some of these important dates are Chinese New Year. This is one of the most anticipated celebrations in Singapore. The festival begins on the first day of the first lunar month in the Chinese calendar, which usually falls between the last week of January and early February. Deepavali, or the Festival of Lights, is the most significant and important festival in the Hindu calendar. Also, it is super important for the Indian community in Singapore. Deepavali usually falls in the month of October and November. This signifies the triumph of good over evil or light over darkness. Some famous landmarks of Singapore are Esplanade, Million Park, and Chims. Esplanade is one of the most famous and public parks in Singapore. It is 60,000 square meter and it is for performing arts. It is a center where the different kind of performances and shows held every day. It was built. The Merlion Park is the fascinating icon. Merlion of Singapore has two elements and each element represents the different meaning. The Downtown Fish sculpture symbolizes the fishing villages of Singapore past, while the lion head is a Singapura, which means lion city in a Sanskrit. The water comes out of the mouth of the lion and falls down in Singapore's river. And now, 5 interesting facts about Singapore. The colors of the flag. The red represents the brotherhood and equality of men, and the white, it represents and symbolizes the purity and the virtue. Buildings in Singapore can't be higher than 280 meters. The Guinness World Record of the longest human domino was set in Singapore. The national language of Singapore is Malay, but it has 4 official languages in the country that are English, Chinese, Tamil, and Malay. In addition of its main island, the nation of Singapore includes 63 additional islands, most of which are not habited. Not just the culture of Singapore is amazing, but what about famous people of Singapore? One of the most famous people that is Singapore, a Singaporean, is Jackie Chan. Yeah. We know that Singapore has different cultures, and because of that, it has four languages in its culture. But how does English was implemented in Singapore? That's a really good question. In the early years, the lingua franca of the island was Besar Malay, a creole of Malay and Chinese. It was the language of trade in the Malay archipelago. While it continued to be used among many other about many on the island, especially Singaporean Malays, Malay has now been displaced by English. English became lingua franca due to British rule of Singapore and was made the main language upon Singaporean independence. English is a medium of instruction in schools and is also the main language used in formal settings such as in government, departments, and the courts. But how does Singaporean English sounds? Now we're going to see a short video of a YouTuber that is Singaporean, and she is going to show us some different types of the speech in the Singaporean English.
This episode is a guide to Singlish. I am Singaporean. I am born and bred here. Have been living here for 30 plus years. So Singlish is kind of like a slang. We kind of have our own accent, which is really strong. We use certain words that other people may not understand. A lot of these funny words that we use are borrowed from the languages that are spoken in Singapore, like Malay, Tamil, Chinese, and all the other like Mandarin dialects. So if you're a foreigner watching this, today you'll be learning the basics of Singlish. So one of the key features of Singlish is that sentences or words are often shortened. I guess Singaporeans do this because it's just a more efficient way of getting your message across, or maybe we're just lazy. So for example, never mind becomes never mind. I don't want it becomes don't want. Excuse me becomes excuse. Like that becomes like that.
I'm going to try to speak as Singaporean. I think the shows like in the video, the words get shortened, the sentences get shortened, and they don't speak or don't say a lot the letter R. So they speak like super strong, and this is I don't know. It's weird for me to speak like that. Okay, as a conclusion, would I go to Singapore? I think I will go. It will be amazing to know more about the culture by myself, to get to know really how is to be there, how is the life there, and how are the accents and different types of food, and how they treat each other as persons. I think Singapore is really, really big in culture, just as in Mexico, and they have a lot of different countries. Well, not countries, but different cultures there, like Chinese, like Malay, Indian. So it will be so interesting to go there and to get to see with my own eyes and not just through a computer how they live and how is their life and the way they speak. This was my video, and I'm so glad that you are seeing it. It was really difficult for me, but I think I did it well.